This is the first 30 seconds that the replay crew can hear, but nobody else can hear. So thanks, replay crew, for being here. Drop a comment for the algorithm, feed the robots, all of that. I appreciate y'all. And here momentarily within the next 10 seconds, somebody on the live stream will say 5x5 bear, and then we'll actually get to the brief. Sound good? Okay, bear. Cool. No, nobody said 5x5. That's cool. Hello, good morning. There we are. Peter Carlson, appreciate you. Why does this say 37 people are on here? That's weird. Pretty sure it's a public video. Anyway, I'm Bear from the internet. We do intel and read the Bible and talk about preparedness. And if you're new here, subscribe, ring the little bell icon, comment for the YouTube algorithmic robots, all those things. If you're not new, you know what to do. Share the show with somebody you love. Okay? Okay, Bear. Awesome. Show's brought to you by the creator of the universe, Yahweh, your Elohim, the Lord your God. If you don't believe in him, he definitely believes in you. Maybe humble yourself, brother. Maybe think about that. Maybe inspect your life. Is it going great for you? All right. It's also brought to you by the people on Patreon. There's a link in the description. Love those people. Spent 2.5 hours on an exclusive live stream with them last night. It was a blast. It was banging. And a little company called Refuge Medical that I'm the founder and CEO of. And so if you ever heard of Refuge Medical and you're like, oh, how interesting. I had no idea. I'm that guy. I'm that guy, bro. And I am blessed to have an awesome team of people that work with us to make wonderful things happen for the preservation of life. Cool. Cool story, Bear. Awesome. We're going to talk about inflation and job numbers this morning. We're going to talk about at least one bit of intel that's being floated by a Russian intelligence operative, aka highly trustworthy, that the globalist elites are looking to push Zelensky out. That's fun. Biden made another gaffe. Imagine that. Biffer, shalom, bro. Thanks for the $20 bill. Appreciate you. Biden made another gaffe, so that's fun. Who'd have thought? NATO actually kind of called out China for doing Chinese stuff, and China was like, oh, no, we would never do that. So we might talk about that. And then, of course, the national intel, which you guys send into intel@bearindependent.com. I can't remember the intel address. You're sending your intel to bearindependent.com. I know. Guys, if I made it any easier, I don't know. Like, remember those Mr. Yuck stickers from back in the day that like they used to put on bleach so kids wouldn't chug bleach? And now we have like a whole generation that like smokes Tide Pods and doesn't know. I don't know how to sell intel. I don't know how to send intel to Bear Independent. Intel@bearindependent.com. Yeah. How many A's in independent? Well, White Fox. It's independent is spelled ENDUHPANHDANTLMNOPQ poop emoji ENTZ .com is how you spell that. So for everybody who is interested, that's your lesson. Hooked on phonics. It worked for me. You guys ever have one of those little people, like a little tiny person, doesn't have any words yet, brand new, and then they're just super sweet and loving and everything, and then they start cutting teeth, and you just like, do I get the holy water? What do I do to this thing? Just like scream out demon over and over again. Yeah. So great sleep last night. I don't know about y'all. Bear Independent Brief, 12 July 24. The Federal Reserve Chair, Jerome Powell, told lawmakers this week, it's just what we need. We need more laws, indeed. 4 million's not enough. Let's make some more. That the economy was, quote, growing around 2%, it feels like. It feels like. This dude's the chairman of the Federal Reserve, and he feels like, dude, you don't have anything more accurate than, it feels like. Okay, cool. The economy is growing around 2%. It feels, this is a quote, it feels like. Inflation, listen, guys, let's just all get gaslit by Jerome Powell. Inflation is down 2.6%. Unemployment's at 4.1%. Those are good numbers. They're great numbers. Mm, eh, I don't know about y'all, but on this side of the camera, no. He mentioned the cooling inflation and said, quote, I think we're talking soft landing again after a kind of a bumpy spring. This guy's very particular with the wording that he chooses. He acknowledged that the high interest rates were making housing very difficult. He told the Senate, quote, in the long run, the absolute best thing we can do for the housing market and for the economy is to sustainably bring inflation back down so that people aren't talking about it anymore. And it's just assumed by everybody in their daily lives that inflation will be around 2%. We'll get inflation low enough that we don't talk about it anymore. We'll just, slowly boil the frog again. We turned the heat up on the frog too quickly, and now the frogs are complaining. Hey, what's up, Buckets and Bubbles? Nana Tans, $10. I appreciate you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. We'll just get inflation to where it's still happening. It's just not happening fast enough for anybody to notice. That's great. Interest rates, continuing the quote, can come down then, and housing market can return to a state it was in before the pandemic, which was to say, really tight. We don't have enough housing, and that's not really a monetary policy issue. The housing that we don't have isn't a monetary policy issue. Now, granted, I'm not a global elite. I'm 0% reptilian overlord that I know of, although I won't submit to a 23andMe or whatever that thing is. Yeah, I really don't want my DNA on record. So I can't guarantee that I'm 0% reptilian, but I feel like, in the words of Jerome Powell, I feel like I'm not any reptilian. So how is housing being unaffordable not a monetary policy issue? Just curious. I just curious. Maybe it's one of those, I'm just a normal person and I'm too stupid to understand. Maybe it's one of those. For perspective, the median sales price for existing homes is up 50% compared to before 2020. That's not even considering the fact that the actual payments are far more expensive now due to interest rates. But it's definitely not a monetary policy issue. Unemployment. ND Prepper, great pelt last night. Thank you. $10. Hey, you're welcome, bro. It was good seeing you on there. If you're on Patreon and you didn't catch the pelt Patreon exclusive live stream Thursday, it's up. Go watch it. It was a really good pelt. We had some friends over and we had a very spirit-filled conversation. It was tremendous. Unemployment has been slowly increasing, finally sustaining a 4% or higher level for the second month. Overall, the number of long-term unemployed has increased by 40% since 2023. Last month saw 206,000 jobs added rather than the average of 220,000 as of 2023. All these indicators combine to reveal a softening labor market. Powell told senators, quote, we're very much aware that we have two-sided risks right now, and we're determined to balance those as best we can. We want to see more good inflation data. Dude, you're the guy in charge of the data, asshole. You're the guy. Like, who do you pass the buck to? You're the guy. We need to see some more data. Who's collecting the data? Who's in charge of that? You're the chairman. It's your fault, bro. The buck stops with you. But of course, we have elected and unelected, like this guy, leaders, air quote, leaders that don't know anything about leadership. Their entire job is to extract wealth from the working class and centralize it at the upper echelons of society so they continue to exert influence over you so that they can wash, rinse, repeat, extort wealth from you and centralize it at the upper echelons of society over and over and over again. What's the end game there? Just slavery, internment camps, the destruction of mankind. Yeah. What's up, 12C? What's up, Badger? Blah, blah, blah. We want to see more good inflation data. We also want to continue to see a strong labor market, and those two things are equal under the law. We have this challenging thing to balance them, but we're very conscious that that is our job. Diplo speak. We need to see more data. We're also very aware that that's our job. So do your job, asshole. Would love the title list for the 12 books above Bear's left shoulder. Oh, Kim, these are just books that I've acquired since we moved into the new house. I have thousands of books, but if we're just gonna look, I mean, let's see. The Body Keeps Score, Brain, Mind, and Body and the Healing of Trauma by Bessel van der Kolk. Buy Your Time Back by Dan Martell. Why the Rich Are Getting Richer by Robert Kiyosaki. The Cold Start Problem by Andrew Chen. The Comfort Crisis by Michael Easter. Tax-Free Wealth by Tom Wheelwright. The Ideal Team Player and the 5 Temptations of a CEO and The Motive and the 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, all by Patrick Lencioni. This book, The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, really good book. Really highly recommended. You should read that. Every one of you is on a team, even if that team is your family. Check it out. Let's see. What else? Managing Narcissists, Blamers, Dramatics, and More. Research-driven scripts for managing difficult personalities at work. That's one. The Interpretation of Financial Statements by Benjamin Graham. Some Jack Carr books. Structure and Function of the Body. Because, we do TACMED stuff. Physiology is important. So, knowing how the body works is important. $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozy. And this one right here. Unhumans by Jack Posbiec. The Secret History of Communist Revolutions and How to Crush Them. Yeah. And then on my desk is a fundraising book for Caleb House. This was given to me by Emily Frizella, Andy's wife. How to Ask for Money. Because I'll be frank, I'm bad at this. And I don't know anything about fundraising, which is bad because I have 2 501c3s. So Emily gave me this book because she's a gangster. And then the best book that I own is this one right here called The Scriptures. Okay? Bear's Book Club for men and women too. But non-binary people, all 2 genders. If you're one of the 2 genders, you can be in my book club. If you shit in a litter box, you can't be in my book club. Blah, 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 blah. As far as any rate cuts, it's expected that the Fed will cut rates at least once this year, though Powell refused to comment on it when asked. He was asked during the House hearing if inflation will need to be below 2% before the Fed would be willing to cut rates, and his response was, quote, "You don't want to wait until inflation gets all the way down to 2% because inflation has a certain momentum. If you waited that long, wait a minute, I thought you needed better numbers. I thought you were looking for some good inflation data, even though that's your job to look for some good inflation data. But now all of a sudden you're a subject matter expert. If you waited that long, you probably waited too long because inflation will be moving downward and will go well below 2%, which we don't want. We don't want a stable monetary system at all. Can't have that at all. That would be a problem. The Fed is trying to carefully walk the line of ensuring inflation will continue to recede to appropriate levels, which should be 0, while cutting rates as soon as they safely can to prevent further harm to the labor market and the economy. However, one key remark he made was, quote, "I think we probably won't go back to that era between the global financial crisis and the pandemic when rates were very low and inflation was very low." That's great. Thanks. The ray of sunshine, this guy. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, Bear.
All right, awesome. How are we today? Are we good today? You guys doing good? Camo Dad says, morning, everyone. Good morning, Camo Dad. James Williams, good morning. Evil Girl 87. Oh, evil girl. Stop being so evil. Humble thine self. Michael the Screech Owl. Whoo. Good morning. Silverback, JC Fixer. Doing awesome. That's good. Brady, bless you, bro. The one-toe cutter. What's up, Nick? Oh my goodness. Excellent. I'm chilling, yo. Listen, Quintress is chilling, yo. That's nice. Awesome. I'm glad we're chilling. I need another sip of this coffee. Let's piss off all the ASMR nerds. You should get Moose Run coffee, though. I'll tell you what you should do. You should add your Moose Run coffee to your Blackout coffee coffee. I don't mean like put them both in the same cup of coffee, but let's be honest. Everybody loves Jared from Guns and Gadgets, as you should. He's a great guy, and he makes awesome coffee. I've actually been to their coffee facility. I've toured it. It's awesome. They make great coffee. And Jared, his head and his heart are in the right place. He's an awesome dude. So yeah, you should buy Blackout coffee. And nobody pays me anything to say that because I pimp my own shit on my show at refugemedical.com. But also, our brother at Moose Run makes phenomenal coffee as well. And so you should get some of that too, because let's be honest, caffeine, nicotine, kick the day right square in the balls. Like that's where we're at. I don't know if that's where you're at, but that's basically been my policy for 25 years or so. And I don't have it all figured out, but that one seems to be working for me. Barry, you're going to get cancer. Joke's on you. Already had it at age 26. I'm still here. Suck it, Satan. It's going to be one of those shows, y'all. I thought he was going to talk about the news. In the intro, he said all the things he was going to talk about. And now he told Satan to put his phallus in his mouth. I don't think I can hang out around here. This is I feel traumatized. Okay, yeah, you're definitely not going to fit in around here. Like that's fine. That's fine. I'm not for everybody. Everybody's not for me. So walk on home, boy. Shall we read the news? Let's read some more of the air quote news. From Russia today. Bear, why do you always go to RT? I go to all the news sources every morning, but I go to RT because I want to see how they are propagandizing their people. And RT is available in at least 8 languages, which means they have some global distribution, including here in the Estados Unidos. So it's less about the air quote information that's contained. It's more about what narratives are they pushing. You know what I mean? Shop stuff. Best line ever. Suck it, Satan. Yeah, I know. There's some of y'all, like you, our homeschooling crowd who's watching this with their kids right now. They're like, oh no, honey, put the sourdough in your ears. They're saying words again. That's okay. That's all right. Just step away. Just step away. From RT, West looking for Zelensky replacement, according to Russian intel, which is highly trustworthy, right? There's A1 source. This is 100% verified, vetted, validated, all the other buzzwords. So take this to the bank, y'all. Ukraine's Western backers have stepped up efforts to find a replacement for Volodymyr Zelensky, an operative with Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service, or SVR, because in Russian, FIS becomes SVR, has claimed in a declassified report. Declassified and then distributed, which means there's intent behind that to push a narrative. The document was published in the latest issue of SVR's Refuge, aka Scout magazine. According to an operative using the pseudonym Stone, ooh, tough guy, the US and EU are, quote, extremely concerned by growing discontent, end quote, among Ukraine's population over the protracted conflict and the current leadership's inability to end it, especially after the expiration of Zelensky's presidential term last May. The growing discontent. Now is the summer of our discontent, made glorious summer by the son of York. While Western powers will tolerate Zelensky for now, since he is, quote, linked to war financing schemes that bring enormous income to both Kyiv, the Kyiv regime, and Western arms manufacturers, end quote. Yeah, that's obvious. Everybody knows this. By the way, if like I'm not I'm not rich, I'm not wealthy, I don't have like a massive stock portfolio, and I don't play a guy on the internet that does have one of those. But Nvidia, yeah, Nvidia, Raytheon, Halliburton, yeah, genius by birth, 100 doll hairs. May he keep watch over Caleb's house and make it possible. You and your team's impact on those victims will be rewarded in ways only he knows. Bless you. Thank you. Appreciate the super chat. Very much so. And yeah, Caleb House is 100% the father, because I'll be the first one to tell you, we didn't know our elbow from our butthole when we started this. When we started Caleb House. What's Caleb House? Yeah, you're clearly new here. Anti-human trafficking. I'm sorry, counter-human trafficking, because we're not just anti people abusing children. We counter the people who abuse children. And so, yeah, when we jumped into this thing, you know, we threw ourselves into the deep end of the pool and taught ourselves how to swim. And the Father's been with us every step of the way, which is required with something like that. Dude, there's only 592 people on. Usually there's 1,000, 1,500. So look at us getting throttled again. This is fun. This is fun. I like it. It's a good time. But share the show, please and thank you. If you found some value in this, share the show. Also, we may have gotten throttled because I failed to hit a button on Patreon that I just hit. So that one's on me. That one's my fault. But share the show anyway. Back to RT. While Western powers will tolerate Zelensky for now, since he is, quote, linked to war financing schemes that bring enormous income to both Kyiv regime and Western arms manufacturers, Stone claimed they have stepped up efforts to find a suitable replacement. According to the operative, blah, 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 a bunch of names that I can't pronounce. Then they said some words. Quote, it is assumed that these persons may be in demand in the event of a sharp deterioration of the situation on the front line and need for an urgent change of leadership. Then it will be possible to choose one of them, blaming all the failures on Zelensky, the operative stated. Yeah, this is basic politics, especially basic democratic politics, as we're seeing happening with Biden right now. And also, I'm not going to read the rest of the article to you because that's the gist of it. According to a Russian intelligence operative, Stone, Zelensky is looking to be replaced by the reptilian overlords. Keep an eye on that. That's why I bring that up. Speaking of morons, according to the Blaze Media, Biden calls Trump his vice president, an awkward gaffe at high-stakes news conference at NATO summit. And this is a very verbose article that has 2% content value. But, and also people are mad at George Clooney right now because Democrat stuff. Apparently the rumor is that Barack Hussein Obama is still publicly supporting Joe Biden, but behind the scenes, George Clooney wrote a hit piece, ran it by Obama, and Obama didn't tell him to pull the hit piece, but instead encouraged him to release it. And the hit piece is basically saying Biden's older than dirt, and he has the mental capacity of an amoeba. We should get rid of this guy. Also, FYI, George Clooney, huge Democratic operative. And now, Ocean's 11 is a good movie. It's a good movie, but don't support these assholes. Just don't. Don't give them any money. Like, stop feeding Hollywood. Stop feeding DC. Watch it starve to death and die. Just saying. So that's the article from the Blaze. That's all. Biden said that Trump was his vice president. That's interesting. And then people will say, it's foreshadowing. They have to tell you what they're going to do. No, they don't. No, they don't. Well, it's part of their satanic ritualistic cabal that runs the world. No, it doesn't. It doesn't work that way. You've watched way too many TikToks, which, by the way, is owned by ByteDance, which, by the way, is 100% in the bed with the Chinese Communist Party, which, by the way, is absolutely pushing narratives in the United States of America in order to weaken the cohesion of the American people, because a house divided against itself cannot stand. Yeah, Abraham Lincoln said that. No, Messiah said that. Lincoln was just quoting him. The Bible. It's a good place to get quotes from. Um, yeah, right. And I already told you at the NATO summit, some dude in a suit called out China for their support of Russia in the special military operation in Ukraine for basically providing war material to Russia. And China's response was, in a nutshell, no, we're just doing commerce with an ally of ours, but we would never get directly involved in the war with boots on the ground. Can you imagine? That's a long supply line. Just saying, from China to Ukraine, they're not exactly neighbors. They're not the same state. They're not the same country. There's depends on which part of China we're talking about, but there's 12 time zones in between China and Ukraine. It's kind of a big deal. But guys and girls, man, maybe this is where we're going to have our big World War III, right? Like right there in Ukraine, right on the doorstep of Europe. Poland is just chomping at the bit. They're like, let me at them, boss. Let me at them, right? And so we'll get Russia and China in Ukraine fighting NATO, all because the Democrats have been bought and paid for by who? Oh, right, Russia and China. And of the 4,000 known terror cells in the United States of America right now, 2/3 of them are comprised by who? Russia and China. How interesting. Yeah, you heard that number, right? 4,000 cells, not individuals, cells. And the other third or so are Middle Eastern types. And they're trustworthy. They love us, they have nothing against us. Death to America is definitely not a thing that they yell over and over and over and over and over again. So really nothing to worry about here. Deborah Mayer, support Bear. Any amount helps. I appreciate the $2 bill, Deborah. Appreciate you. Shall we do the bonus intel? Yes, Mr. Bear. Let's do the bonus intel. Okay. Honey, you can take the sourdough out of your ears now. Okay. I wouldn't go that far. We'll see. Last Friday, my kids were playing this is all intel. These are all quotes. Intel at bearindependent.com. Where? Intel at bearindependent.com. Last Friday, my kids were playing in the yard on a homemade slip and slide at their grandparents' house. They wanted to dig a hole at the end of the tarp. Approve. That's a great idea. Mud run. I have a 13-year-old son and a 12-year-old daughter. My son tried to dig the hole, but we were in desperate need of rain and the ground was too hard. He went to stand on the shovel up in the ground after being defeated with the hole digging. When he did, he hit his sister's barefoot toes. Shovel, 2 toes with weight of 13-year-old on top of it. They live 5 miles from town and any other people. I knew immediately we had no time to wait for an ambulance. We only had one truck that day, which was my son's single cab F-350. He had to drive us 5 miles for help while I held pressure to try and stop the bleeding. Thankfully, when we made it into town, the guy over at our county's ambulance unit was at the hardware store. We swung in. He put a pressure bandage and wrapped it with gauze for us and then drove 40 miles to the ER. Praise the Father, she did not lose her toes, but she has multiple fractures and breaks with toes full of stitches, as well as the toenail beds with stitches to try and save the toenail bed for regrowth in the future. The ED had to do a deep clean out since the shovel entered the bones. We were discharged with hydrocodone liquid. Listen, there are learning points in here, teachable moments in here over and over and over again. Listen. We were discharged with hydrocodone liquid as her pain med. We live in a rural area with no pharmacies open after 5 p.m. Thankfully, I had the same meds at home left over from my brother's kidney stones a year prior. Even with it being out of date, it was what we had. Come Saturday, the next day, I drove to 14 pharmacies with no luck on the pain meds. No one would even compound it from pill to liquid since the script was written for 6 milliliter, and no luck getting with the hospital to approve the change of the script. Turns out there's a nationwide shortage for it. Yes, there is. That and a couple hundred other critical medications. Nationwide shortage. Why? Most of it comes from China. Who are we in an asymmetric war with right now? China. Sandman. Bear, do they make tourniquets for kids? Also, I bought your desk kit for my wife. She has it in her desk at work. Peace of mind in her desk drawer. I appreciate that. Yeah, Sam, man. You're looking for the Slishman. We call it the Slishy. Here, hold on. I'll find a link for you. www.refugedmedical.com. Thank you very much. I hit the inspection glass. I put in Sleesh man. There it is. I click button. Okay. I click another button. Control C. Control C. Come over here. And I do Control V. I spam the chat with the Slishman device now. Okay. You're welcome. You have a blessed day. Okay. Shalom. Yeah, the Slishy. That's what you want right there. It's a juvenile tourniquet. It works as a pressure wrap, and you can also use it as an adult tourniquet. It's great. Sam Slishman came up with that. What's up, Bertrand? Shalom, bro. Bertrand just over there getting, it's like day 18 of 75 hard. I'm still in the jungle. I've eaten nothing but a scorpion today. I did 96 pull-ups on a branch. I'm successfully fighting the gorillas, keeping them off of me, working on an alliance with the jaguars. Do you guys see that thing that there's a new study out that shows that jaguars 100% eat the roots of a tree that causes them to hallucinate? And the reason they're so chill during the day is they're just high AF. Yeah. Science, bro. Anyway, so the young lady with the toes. There's a nationwide shortage of hydrocodone. Luckily, with tons of phone calls, we were able to find it in a town an hour and 45 minutes away. The pharmacy then drove it to a second location 45 minutes away for me to pick up on Monday morning due to state regulations on meds and being able to transfer them to a different location. What was a laid-back afternoon turned into a life lesson for not only a mom, but 2 kids and a shovel. We have a total of 5 vehicles, and 4 of them have packs, first aid kits. Now all 5 do. Since my son brought his truck, and he can't legally drive it yet, we were slack and never put a pack in it as he only drives it around the farm. Do not be slack like I was. Be prepared, know all the things, do all the things you can to be prepared for life in general, not just SHTF. Thank you, Bear, for all your videos, updates, and knowledge. God bless you and your tribe. Appreciate you. Nico Smith, Shalom Bear, greetings from South Africa. Yahweh will bless you and yours. Stay salty. You know what, Nico? Bless you, bro. You stay salty. South Africa is no joke, homie. What are those rock badger things? Dossies? Dossies? Everybody's out there just shooting dossies with the air guns? Yeah. And what's that? I don't know. There's some South African dude who drives around in a little truck and shoots dossies with an air gun. I watch some of his YouTube videos. That basically sums up everything I know about South Africa. That, and there's a very large Messianic community there, and that's where the scriptures is printed from, isrmessianic.org. That, and I don't know, you've had a little bit of social unrest for the last ever. So keep your head on a swivel, bro. Okay, cool. Vehicle med kits. This one. Real quick, boys and gerbils. You've seen this thing before. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. This is the travel first aid kit. It has there's Velcro right here. You can put whatever patch you want to on it. I just have this balloon hunter patch. Float around and find out. Balloon response team. One of y'all sent that to me because it's got red in it. It matches, and yeah, and it's got Winnie the Pooh. So fat bear. It makes sense. But the way this works is this comes with, it ships with a mount. You mount this to the headrest. I have mine on my passenger headrest. So as the driver, I can reach over, grab it, pull it. You keep this mounted to the headrest, right? And then I've got a tourniquet right here if I need it. And then if I need to get anything else out, red handle right here. You literally just pull this off the headrest. Boom. There's our first aid kit. And unlike a lot of like the bullshit first aid kits that are out there, number one, we make this in America and we guarantee it forever. Like we've had five warranty claims in 5 years. So I'm quite comfortable guaranteeing it forever. What does that mean? If you break it, I'll replace it. Simple as that. In fact, I kind of want you to break it because I want to figure out how it failed so I can make it better. All right. But then it's set up per priority of care. So bleeding control is right where I can get at it because that's going to be 92% of my problem for the March algorithm, right? So I got my tourniquet where I can get at it, right on the outside. I have a wound packing gauze right here. I've got a pressure bandage, flat pressure bandage right here. I've got my gloves. I've got, there it is right there. That's actually a Slishman device right there, the juvenile tourniquet. Okay, so it's got all kinds of stuff. I've got my shears because the E in the March E algorithm, we want to expose, evaluate, elevate, right? And so part of that is expose. I've got chest seals, but then I've also got, Band-Aids. Got Band-Aids, man, and OTC meds and blah, blah, blahs, duct tape, petrolatum gauze. It's like a really good have in your car first aid kit that will handle a motor vehicle accident. Or, we were at the park and Susie fell off the slide and got a gash on her forehead. Susie needs to get her inner ear checked. She's got really bad balance. Like she's falling off her bike all the time, stubbing her toes, tripping at the park. And so that's the travel fact. These actually just came back in stock today. Not a coinky dink. Didn't set that up. So if you're like, it's Friday, it's payday. I got some money burning a hole in my pocket because that happens all the time in 2024 now, right? Anyway, if you need a real first aid kit, we got you. Refugemedical.com. Promo code BearNation for free shipping. Okay. Next, I'm a lineman in South Carolina. This last Sunday, we had a substation transformer go out, causing that entire substation to lose power. We were able to backfeed from other substations to restore power after an hour or two while we worked on restoring this one. This particular substation has 3 single-phase transformers, and luckily there was a spare on site. But that is the only one, and it's the same age as the others, which is undetermined. The transformers have no listed manufacture date, and serial lookup is no help either. The best guess we have is by one of our older linemen of 50-plus years old. Not the lineman, the transformer. The transformer's 50-plus years old. What's up, lamppost? Is Nick saying funny things in the chat? Oh my gosh. I have to know now. Hey, listen, the 767, you just hang on, okay? I'm reading comments. I can't find it. Oh, I missed some super chats. Stephen Wilson, bless you. J954, bless you. Thank you so much. Bless you guys, girls. Not much extra Quan in Joe Biden's economy. I know it, Camo Dad. I know how it be. I get it. I totally get it. I will tell you this, though. I don't know another company in the trauma medicine space that guarantees their products forever. I don't know another company that if you use their products to save a life will replace them at no cost to you. I don't know another company that does what we do and makes all of their kits in the United States of America. And so, and you got to have it. Like, if you own a firearm and you don't have a trauma medicine kit, you're wrong. It's just as simple as that. You never know. If you drive a vehicle and don't have a trauma medicine kit, you're wrong. It's the most dangerous thing we do is drive. 68 of our 125 lives saved, motor vehicle accidents. It happens constantly. I just posted an 8 rendered story on Patreon yesterday. Motor vehicle accident. It's just over and over and over again. And so, couple $300 I know is hard to scrape together right now, but a bleeding control kit. This is just a bare fact pouch and black multicam. You could buy these individually if you want, but inside of here, a bleeding patrol kit or control kit, prevention kit. There you go. Bleeding prevention kit. The basic is $60, 60. And that's very reasonable for what's included with it. And you know what? Even that Mylar baggie right there, or not Mylar, Vacuum seal baggie. Yeah, we did that here in America too, because we do that. We have a vacuum sealing line ourselves. So, and just get a tourniquet, get some gauze, get a pressure bandage, put that stuff in a Ziploc. Come on, wake up, Bear. Put it in a Ziploc, put it in your glove box. And really, by the time you do that, you should have just bought a bleeding prevention kit anyway, because you're going to spend less. But whatever you're into. Back to the Transformers. They're robots in disguise. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but they're an alien race from another planet made up of like iron and steel and copper. That they came to this planet to fight the Decepticons, who are trying to take over the planet. And it's really interesting because like they're like trucks and cars and like airplanes and stuff that somehow inexplicably speak English, and they're here to save mankind. And without them, the power grid won't work. So it's we don't want the Transformers to fall apart, because Optimus Prime for president 2024. I would vote for Optimus Prime at this point. If Optimus Prime would restore the economy, I'm in. Tell me you're an 80s baby without telling me you're an 80s baby. All right. The Transformers have no listed manufacture date. Best guesses are 50 years old. Definitely speaks to the fragility of our network, as further replacement is non-existent for the time being, as Transformers are very expensive, have terrible lead times, and is a logistical problem to transport and set up. That is all. Stay frosty. 100%. Shafty, I see your question. This is not Q&A right now. We did some of that yesterday. Repost that question in a comment on this video once it becomes a video after the live stream's over. And then I can screenshot it and maybe shoot that video about nuclear winter, which could all the way be a thing. Also, you could just go watch Pastor Joe Fox of Viking Preparedness on Patreon for $5, and because he's done 100 videos on Crescent Kearney's nuclear survival skills book, or whatever it's called, and how to apply that to your daily life. Well worth $5. I don't have $5. I know. It's 2024. Next, I'm from Brownsville, Texas. Like most RGV kids, that's the Rio Grande Valley kids. I grew up on the beach, surfed, worked at the island as a teen, and worked there as a young adult. In all my years that I can test that not a single person I knew or even saw carried any kind of substantial first aid kit. By the way, I didn't curate these. There's just a theme today. Not beyond Band-Aids, unless when sandy and wet, and a bottle, useless when sandy and wet, and a bottle of water for sandy eyes on their person. I always had an IFAC in my Jeep because my dad, an Army medic, put it there, but looking back, that would have been worthless in any real emergency. I started EDCing medical a few years ago. Last year, my cousin asked me why I always packed it with my beach bag. It's extra weight. Nobody will need that. It's just going to take up space. Oh well, I'm carrying it anyway. Today, 4th of July, which is when this was written, my family and cousins are at the island. They live there now, the island, South Padre Island, and witnessed a shark attack. You may have seen this going around on socials. Lady lost her calf, like not a baby cow that she was swimming with. Although I bet there's some of you crunchy people out there that would, let's take the baby cow swimming. It's going to be fun. It'll be good for Oliver. You named your cow Oliver. Yeah, he's fluffy. He's a miniature Highland. All right, listen, you're going to eat that thing when the world ends. I'm just saying, like, it's the more names you give it, the harder it is to eat. Ask me how I know. So there was a shark attack. Adult cousins are in shock. Kids are all freaked out. Within minutes, I was sent multiple videos and photos of the immediate aftermath. She was being pulled out of the water. I got a live FaceTime call because, help, what do we do? Ani, llame 911. She's on the cell phone. All I could see was blurs, and all that could be heard was screaming and wind. People grabbed towels, T-shirts. SPIERT, South Padre Island Emergency Response Team, I'm guessing, based on the acronyms, finally arrived. Felt like forever, although probably minutes. About 2 hours later, everyone is back at the condo calming down. I get another call with updates about the victim. One of my cousins is at the hospital with her. By the end of the call, my cousin said, I guess that emergency bag of yours probably would have helped today. What's up, Esandring? Greetings from the Texas-Mexico border. I'm out here hauling skid steers and dodging groups of migrants. Thanks for the briefs. Very enjoyable part of my day. Bless you, Esandring. Thanks for the $20 bill, yo. I guess that emergency bag of yours probably would have helped today. Stuff like this doesn't just happen here. It's supposed to be fun and relaxed, not this. Yep, tell that to the Sharks. They were here before you were, bro. I sent everyone the link to Refuge Medical's IFACs and training videos. By the way, trauma medicine playlist free here on YouTube. Please go watch it. Please go watch it. It's the entirety of the S-March-E algorithm. Scene safety, massive bleeding, airway, respiratory, circulation, head injury, hypothermia, everything else. Expose, evaluate, evacuate, Casevac, Medevac, and then the pause algorithm, which is pain management, antibiotics, wounds, and splinting. It's free on this channel. And it's like a 4-hour block of instruction broken into like 20 to 30-minute videos. You can watch it at your own time, distribute it to everybody you know. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a strong possibility in between now and November that shit goes all the way sideways. There's 4,000 terror cells, not individuals, cells. If at a minimum, there's 4 people on each cell, that's 16,000 known to the feds who are here right now. And there's a lot of people in Washington, D.C. that are not overly concerned with this election in 2024 November. Why? I'm not saying that something bad is going to happen. I don't want anything bad to happen, but I'll tell you what, I don't get in my truck to go to the gas station 15 minutes away without a level 2 blowout kit, IFAC chest rig, 2 rifles, and 14 magazines. Well, that sounds crazy, Bear. Yeah, because we've seen Pakistani looking, I don't know what their nationality was, but they looked Pakistani, dudes in camis in the state park running ops, training ops. And when they were interdicted by the local LEOs, they melted back into the woods and nobody knows where they are now. In nowhere, Oklahoma. And there were at least 12 of them. So, and I live in nowhere, Oklahoma. And I have a policy for people who want to try and hurt me. Harder, better, faster, stronger. That's it. You get involved in a deadly force engagement, the only way to solve it is to be better at deadly force than your opponent is. Going, please stop. No, I don't want to fight. Yeah, as they cut your head off with a dull machete for your belief in Messiah. Nah, no. He who has not a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. JB's Garage was down there last weekend. 3 attacks, 1 fatal. I'm from RGV, Rio Grande Valley as well. Awesome. How many Bearfac reloads can I get out of a stomp bag? It doesn't work that way. The stomp bag's not just a bunch of Bearfacs put into a larger bag. Stomp bag is a hospital on your back. If you want a Bearfac reload, you can literally go to the website and just put in refill in the search bar. REFILL. Boom. Boom. IFAC refill kits. SOB, Bear Min, Boo Boo. Yep. It's all there. She's all right there, man. Check this out. Control, copy. Well, thank you very much for calling refugemedical.com. Please stand by while I can copy paste into the chat. Okay, I'm copy pasting now. Boom. Refill. Search bar. It's tremendous. The stomp bag is not a giant IFAC. The stomp bag is a hospital on your back. Stomp bag is an acronym that comes from Naval Special Warfare that is SEAL Team Operational Medical Pack. And it's designed to support 14 guys in the field for 10 to 12 days. That's what it is. Is there trauma medicine capability in it? 100%. There's some TQs, there's some gauze, there's some pressure bandages, but there's also instrumentation. There's also the ability to take vitals. There's also the ability to run fluids. There's also splinting and wound care. There's also OTC meds, the ability to push. There's also a litter for Casevac. It's a completely different kit. It's a hospital that goes on your back. It's not a blowout kit. a bare fac or an SOB or an op fac or whatever, a bare minimum. Those are blowout kits. They can be worn on your kit. That's why it's called an individual first aid kit. That kit is for you, on you. The stomp bag is for all of us after the individual first aid kit has been expelled, after we've used it up during the TCCC phase. Tactical combat casualty care, care under fire, tactical field care, casevac, medevac. Get off the X, kill the bad guys, get TQs on, get off the X, figure out our next move, right? Stomp bag is much more in the realm of what's called PCC, which is prolonged casualty care, meaning if you don't have a golden hour, if the ambulance or the helicopter are not going to come, or they're not going to come for the next 4 hours or 24 hours or 72 hours, how do we keep this person alive? We've used our IFAC. Now, how do I keep them alive until I can elevate them to a higher level of care? That's PCC, prolonged casualty care, also called prolonged field care, which is making a huge resurgence right now due to the war in Ukraine. There is no golden hour. See, during GWOT, Global War on Terror, there was a standing order, a command that everything would be done that could be done to maintain the golden hour for our troops who were on the ground. And that had a lot to do with air superiority. We owned the skies, therefore we could more or less go wherever we wanted to. Asterisk. But we owned the skies. Asterisk. That's not the case in Ukraine. And don't tell anybody, but I know people on the ground in Ukraine, and Russia is all the way directly targeting medics and ambulances and hospitals. Well, that's just a rumor. No, I know people who are there. I know people who just got back from there. Okay. They are targeting medics, ambulances, and hospitals. A, it's completely demoralizing. B, you have a higher death rate. A casualty becomes a death when there is no higher to elevate to. And so golden hour has never existed in the war in Ukraine, which has become PFC, prolonged field care, or PCC, as Department of Defense here is calling it, prolonged casualty care. Stomp bag is prolonged casualty care. IFACs, individual first aid kits, are TCCC, tactical combat casualty care. I use them here on or right next to the X. They're two completely different concepts. The stomp bag is the next step up beyond individual first aid kit. It's not just a gigantic individual first aid kit. What you're thinking about is what's called MASCAL, which is mass casualty. And we have MASCAL kits. Look at the field medic is a good MASCAL kit. And if you want something, we got a little under the radar thing that we do for law enforcement and school resource officers. If you're interested in that, sales@refugemedical.com. Okay. Cool. Back to this dude in the Rio Grande Valley. I know, dude. I'm sorry, bro. You have some great intel here, and I've interrupted you 5 times now. For everyone out there who thinks it'll never happen, so we'll be fine, or it's extra weight, a young lady could have bled out on the beach that day, surrounded by people, because this has never happened and nobody was prepared. Bingo. Thank you. Thank you for sending that in. Next, I wanted to get an estimate this week on a hit and run situation that happened with one of my cars. No injuries, thank the father. The gentleman that completed the estimate let me know that the repair itself is fairly simple, but he was unsure how long it would take to get one fender needed for a 2016 Chevy. According to this man, all automotive body shop suppliers across the country have been hacked. Yeah, we covered that. DGK, SVT, no, that's a Russian designated marksman rifle. Whatever, we covered that attack last week, I believe. Automotive body suppliers across the country have been hacked, including the system that they use in this shop. Definitely not unique news, but thought the Bear Nation should know, as it seems foreign entities just want to be able to flip the switch and put us all back into the 1850s. Yeah. What dude wrote in earlier about the Transformers situation, the robots in disguise, falling apart, being 50 years old. I don't know how to say this more directly, and I've said it for 7 years that I've been on camera. You have got to wrap your mind around the fact, not the supposition, the fact that the grid is going away. Well, how can you say that so confidently, Mr. Bear? Because I built a shit ton of it. That's how. because I've been in the power construction industry literally since I was 4 years old. I have pictures of me sitting on top of a John Deere 850 dozer with an 11-foot Tico plow and a reel carrier on my dad's lap plowing in cable. I've been in this game a hot minute. The infrastructure is falling apart. The infrastructure is incredibly fragile. We can't get replacement parts. There's a severe shortage of labor in the industry. Everybody's being price pointed to death. And oh, by the way, Google AI uses enough electricity in 1 second to charge 7 cyber Tesla trucks. And they're going to start rationing electricity as they lean more and more in the direction of artificial intelligence. The biggest threat to the American electrical grid is rust. And that's if bad people don't do bad things to the grid. And they're gonna. And that's if Google doesn't suck up all of the power. Microsoft is literally buying mini nuclear reactors, literally mini nuke plants to run their AI with. Yeah, you know why? Because wind turbines and solar panels work really good for your house. They don't work really good on a national scale. You have to wrap your brain around the grid is going away. How? There's too many variables. It could be a physical attack. It could be a cyber attack. It could be degradation of the infrastructure. It could be unavailability or rationing due to big business, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Tesla. But it's going away. Not that it could go away. It's going away. Now, if you onboard that, figure out, how do I conduct my life if there's no grid? That's the question you need to be answering. And it's not necessarily, what battery backup should I buy for my house? I have a couple of them. I do. But you're not going to run your whole house for any length of time on a little solar generator. But solar generator is a ridiculous word. It's a battery and a charge controller inside of a plastic housing on wheels. Hopefully on wheels, because them bitches be heavy. Okay. No. How do I grid proof my house? How do I live when there is no grid? CDC, Centers for Disease Control, partnered with the DOE, Department of Energy, and did a landmark study white page they put out, I think, 4 years ago, where they estimated that within 1 year, 12 months of a grid down situation in the United States, that 90% of the population would be dead. 90. Oh, yeah. B said Stuxnet. Yeah, don't even start me on programmable logic controllers, Siemens PLCs. We're done for. Wrap your brain around it. It's going away. You need to start thinking about that now, because it's going to be a shock to the system for everybody. While everybody else's OODA loop is all jacked up, if you've already wargamed this, you already have preparations in place, you can act rather than be acted upon. And I don't mean any werewolf prepper bullshit. I mean, you can preserve your life. But I digress. I have books. Quintress has books. Me too. Me too. I'm a truck driver for Walmart, and Walmart is doing hey, look, another indicator. Walmart is doing a regional or cost-to-cost test of generators. Every store that has one has it going. And every distribution center that I have been to for about a month has been powered 100% by diesel generators. It could be every building they own is powered by one. This was my observation. They haven't floated out any info on it. They know a blackout is coming. Planned is my guess. That's an indicator when the world's largest retailer is running everything on generators. You know what we call that? Pressure testing. Let's work the kinks out now. Let's get some historical data now. Why? Because November 2024 is coming and shit's going to get weird, boys and gerbils. Get what you need. Get what you need. If you have any extra scratch, get what you need. I just bought 1,000 rounds of 60 grain soft point 5.56. I'll be completely honest with you. The last thing I need is more ammo. I just don't need any more ammo. And I was like, you know what? This ammo shortage is probably going to kick off here pretty quick once they start using all that nitrocellulose to build the primers for artillery shells for Ukraine. You know what? I'm just going to get a few more specialty rounds. So I just got another 1,000 rounds of 60 grain soft point because I'm pretty square on medical because I own Refuge Medical. And I'm pretty square on food, although I'm eyeballing the food stores again. And I'm very square on water. I have a lot of water and I have a lot of homies and I have a lot of sheep and I live out in the country. But even out in the country where I live, there's like 12 brown dudes from the Middle East who are all the way planning to do bad things in this county. And that's cool because FAFO, bro. That's all the way fine. What are you going to do, Bear? Oh, I can't tell you. And I don't want it on camera in case the court systems ever have anything to do with it. But just say we will protect and defend our homestead as is my legal right in the state of Oklahoma. Cuz Browning 1919s. Let's see. Next. Bear, saw the brief after the live stream. At the 35-minute mark, you did a piece about the military vehicles on train cars. The National Guard is doing annual training. Yes, I was pretty sure I said it's training, but confirmation here. The National Guard is doing annual training, and most eastern states are using Fort Hood. That's Texas. I was there recently, last trip for me. I've had enough, and I'm getting out while I can. I can tell you that our vehicles in Tennessee are en route home by rail. They're meticulously cleaned before loading, hence the new look. In reality, they're trashed before we ever get them handed down by Big Army. And they are loaded by type in separate rail lines at the yard. Makes them easier to load and easier to keep track of. This is why people are seeing mile-long trains loaded with nothing but tracks, another with MTVs, and others with Hummers. Included or not, I know there's enough paranoia with good reason without adding it. I'm just trying to help alleviate concerns. 100%. 100%. I appreciate it. And by the way, if you have intel to send in, just send it. Like, even if you think that it's no big deal, your little bit of data might be the one piece that unlocks the global or national picture of what's going on here. Thanks, Badger. Intelbearindependent.com. Wild is doing pretty good. Good job, Wild. Doc Root. Mr. Yuck is mean. Mr. Yuck is green. 100%. Next, just a few things that I've noticed as an electrical contractor in Canyon City area. As we all know, copper prices are going through the roof. Again, a 250-foot roll of 14.2 Romex pre-COVID was $35. During COVID, and that's a very small piece of wire. During COVID, it jumped to $130. A year ago, it stabilized about $69 to $75. Recently, that cost is up to $110 at our local Home Depot. Along with wire, all other materials such as panels, disconnects, boxes, breakers, and miscellaneous items are becoming completely unaffordable. For the first time in 14 years, we are having issues with customers not paying their invoices. We're also going through several lawsuits. We are legally covered due to contracts signed by both parties. This is due to the types of people moving into this area from California, New York, Illinois, and the like. We've seen an increase in millionaires building off-grid cabins with bunkers in the mountains. As much as wiring a prepping home with a generator and solar backup is my cup of tea, I feel like I'm working for the enemy. Some of these wealthy people are godless progressive liberals who are completely against our way of life. My wife, 28 weeks pregnant with our first child, bless you, congratulations, and I are strongly considering relocating because of the political climate of Colorado. We have prayed and considered our options, but are torn on making a decision. We live in a very rural area on a beautiful piece of property. The downside is that liberals from Denver and California are moving into the area and bringing their voting habits with them like a cancer. The atmosphere has gone from a friendly mountain community to standoffs and dirty looks from the neighbors. I hope this finds you all well. Stay strapped, keep preparing, and keep doing the Creator's work. Hey, the Father's going to tell you what to do. The Father's going to tell you where to go. The best advice that I can give you in that is be ready to move. Be prepared to move. Be ready to jump when he says jump. But also seek his face. because he might say, go now, or he might give you a date. I know a lot of people he's given a date to, and it's usually not a lot of lead time. Like today's the 12th. He might say, on the 26th, you're up. That's 2 weeks. You are going on the 26th. Copy. To where? I don't know. He who can be trusted with little can be trusted with much. Pack your shit up, homie, and be ready to move on by the 26th. All right, Dad, we're ready to go. Now, where are we going? Ah, you were obedient in that. I'm sending you here, wherever that might be. I have people in my life that didn't, they were packed up, ready to move because the father gave them a date, and they didn't know where they were going until the day before they left. The day before. That's faith, bro. And so you should pray as if it all depends on him, because it does. But you should also do everything you can to prepare to be ready to be obedient to his word when he gives it to you. My experience. Just a heads up for homeowners, after 30 years with Pekin Insurance, I've been notified that they are canceling my policy because I installed a wood-burning stove. My understanding is State Farm is refusing to do business in California and Florida totally. I'm now searching for insurance. There's, don't tell anybody, but there's a lot of insurance companies going out of business. They don't want anybody to know, but they're all the way going out of business. Next, our recycling company has been trying to get invoices paid for several months from the city of Kansas City. Let's put them on blast. What's up, KC? Pay your bills. We discovered this morning that they have experienced a series of cyber attacks which shut the entire city IT infrastructure down. Municipal courts were shut down and water bills couldn't be paid as a result of these outages. We have one more. Face itch. Stand by. Lady Iofani. I'm a trafficking survivor who fought her handler in and out of court for 14 years because he is of black nobility. You better believe that I always carry even while tending my garden. Bless you, sister, and good for you. And I'm sorry that you went through that, but the Father absolutely used it to build a witness and a testimony in you. And he who begun a good work in you will not abandon you nor forsake you. Praise Yah. Good for you. And 100% stay strapped. I'm never more than 3 feet from a gun. I know, and that sounds like, but Bear, you're just some guy in the woods on the internet, bro. Yeah, I'm also a guy in the woods on the internet who takes victims from sex cults and cartels and provides a safe place for them to be restored. And people don't like me. And I don't give a shit. I don't care, because I'm going to do righteousness to the best of my ability 24/7, 365. And you should all the way come here and start some shit. Like all the way. You should do that. My dogs are hungry and I'm bored. Let's party. Like, you see those memes like, I hope those are level 4 plates, bro. It's like, I don't care about your level 4 plates. I'll shoot you in the face. It's not made of Kevlar. Come at me, bro. And that's not ego. It's not hubris. It's a fact. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. And by doing righteousness, we are blessed. So, you want to start some shit? Come see me. Cool with it. And that's why I'm never more than 3 feet from a gun. And that's when I'm sleeping. When I'm awake, there's one on me, and there's literally a long gun behind me. Per YouTube live stream rules, I'm not allowed to touch it. But if you look right there, double op buckshot, 20-inch smooth bore, weapons light, 9 rounds, 5 on the side saddle. And that just gets me to the AR pistol that's over there. Let's start some shit. Let's party. You know what I mean? My dogs will eat your face. And then that's when, like, I hit the little red button and armies of my brethren come swarming out of the hills like the eastern Oklahoma mountain people that we are. Cool. FAFO. Let's party. You want to be big and bad? Let's be big and bad. Okay, cool. I love it. I love it. But they might kill you. Dude, y'all's will be done. I'm going to die one way anyway. Like, I can get hit by a school bus. That's boring as shit. What happened to Bear? I don't know. International school bus just rolled right over the top of him. He's flat as a pancake now. You know? Like, I'm thinking about going parachuting with a Temu parachute just to see what happens. Last, July 3rd, 2024, Sheriff's Deputy, Indiana, 18 years. 3 July 24, 1700, that's 5 p.m. Radio traffic, single motor vehicle accident. The 911 caller advised one male driver trapped in the vehicle. 5:10 p.m. Arrived on scene with state police and a unit from a connecting county. Assessed the scene and started medical care. 5:15. Called Lifeline to auto launch. Will fill in with the patient's injuries while en route. Vehicle had struck a tree head-on, major damage to the vehicle, and hindered entry into the vehicle without heavy equipment. Officers gained entry from the passenger side rear window. I grabbed my self-built stomp bag from my squad car, retrieving an adjustable C-collar and placing it on the patient with help from the officers in the vehicle. By the way, I have a video at this channel, Stomp Bag. You can just search Stomp Bag, and I show you how to build one. If you need to build one for yourself, if you can't just click buy now, you can build one piece by piece by piece, like Johnny Cash, build it one piece at a time, right? So that video exists. It's a reference for y'all. Okay, we are about the preservation of life here at this channel, whether it be the preservation of people who have been trafficked, whether it be the preservation of you through the reading of the word and the blood of Messiah, so that you can enter into covenant and come home again, whether it be through preparedness, that no matter what might happen, whether it's the end of the world as we know it, or the end of an age, or just without rule of law, Teotihuacan, whatever, preservation of life. Build your own stomp if you need to. There's no shame in that either. Build your own stomp if you need to. There's a video for that here at this channel. YouTube search bar. It's the second largest search engine on the internet, owned by the first largest, which is Google. It works pretty good. Okay. So, self-built stomp bag, retrieving adjustable C-collar, placing on the patient with the help of officers in the vehicle. 5:23 p.m. Dispatch advised that heavy rescue was 10 minutes from the scene. Lifeline was 20 to 25 minutes out from the scene. Checking the patient for further injuries, low O2, broken right arm and wrist. How do we know low O2? Pulse oximetry. That's how. A little dew ball that goes over your finger, right? And there's other indicators as well, but like having a pulse ox, boom, easy. Low O2, broken right arm and wrist, head laceration, broken right femur, open fracture. Ooh, that could go really, really bad. It didn't in this case, praise God, but that can go really, really bad. That's why I have tourniquets on the sun visors in the truck. They're right there where I can get at them, even in a wreck. 5:40 p.m. Rescue arrives on scene. Extraction commences. 5:51 p.m. It was noticed that the right foot was entrapped behind the brake pedal. The driver's out. So we're almost an hour at this point. Okay. 1700, it's called in. 1710, first on scene. We're now at 1751. It was noticed that the right foot was entrapped behind the brake pedal. The driver's O2 count had fallen. Oxygen was placed on the driver. I began attending the head wound using quick clot bandage with no pressure, just a light wrap of gauze due to the possible head fracture. That's exactly right. We don't put pressure on the head. 1814 is now 6:15 p.m. Extraction completed. Driver placed in a waiting ambulance where he began to crash. After some tense moments, he was stabilized. 6:28, transport to landing zone. 6:45, arrived at LZ. 19:05, 7:05 p.m. So this is 2 hours and 5 minutes into this. The bird flies away. All the medical supplies that were used in the first part of the rescue were purchased from the fine people at Refuge Medical. Not asking for anything from this. Too bad, homie. We're going to find you. Just wanted to show you the time from the initial scene contact to a higher form of care. This man was saved because of the dedicated volunteer rescue and EMS service and the good graces of God. Praise the Most High. Bravo, Zulu officer. Good job. You got to have your stuff. You never know what's going to happen. You got to have your stuff. Do they make bulletproof face plates? I don't think so, Clement, and I've never met anybody with Kevlar eyelids. So, next, I went to the local academy in West Texas because they're the only place in our city where you can find ammo in bulk for decent prices. They said that their entire system was down globally due to the hurricane. I never realized that if their corporate location is down, it takes out every branch store along with it. Not sure how significant this info is, but I've been putting off stocking backup ammo for a few weeks. I guess the lesson here is get what you need while you can before some unforeseen act of God takes away your opportunity. I concur. I concur. That is the brief for today. Stand by. Do 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 do. All right. So let's see. What shall we talk about now? Caleb House. I talked yesterday on the video we did yesterday that the Caleb House fundraiser, the donor matching, was a smashing success because of y'all, because of the Bear Nation. And as a result, y'all raised $375,000, which was then donor matched for a total of $750,000, which means that our operational expenses, our books are squared for the next 12 months based upon projected costs. Praise the Most High. And we have money to get another care house for the restoration of juvenile human trafficking survivors. So praise the Most High, because it's all his money anyway. But thank you for being obedient and listening to the Spirit and pouring into this ministry. I could not do it without y'all. I don't want to do it without y'all. And thank you is just cheap as hell. There's no adequate way to convey the thanks that I have for you. I don't know. They don't make words for it. They need, like, there's probably some German term for thank you times a million. And I don't know what it is. But thank you. Next steps, and great job to the Caleb House team that put that fundraiser together. Now, what do we do? Consider, if the Spirit moves, recurring donations to Caleb House. That helps us a lot because we can budget and forecast off of that. If we have an adequate idea, a good picture of what the receivables are, the money coming in is each month, that allows us to budget and forecast. So if the Spirit moves, literally every dollar counts. Every dollar matters. I can't tell you how many open cases right now, and I can't tell you where they are, and I can't tell you the details, but suffice it to say, we have a lot of open, active cases right now, cases that are being actively worked right now in the field. That's significant, and we can't do that without y'all. And frankly, I need to bring more people in. And when I say bring more people in, I mean bring more people onto the team. And I need a way to pay those people because a workman is worth their hire. There's a Torah for that. And also, frankly, we underpay our team. Like, they're here because they're convicted to be here, not because we pay them really well. But every one of them has taken a pay cut. And they used to have super interesting careers, working for all kinds of super interesting agencies and units and organizations. And they're here instead. They're making enough, but they're certainly not being paid what they're worth so that they can do the Father's work. And that's humbling and amazing. And I'm appreciative of them as well. So prayerfully consider recurring donation. That helps us. And again, thank you to everybody who has poured into this. Biblically, is it okay to tithe to Caleb House instead of my dead church? Biblically, the tithe is an agricultural offering from the increase of your grain once every 3 years. So biblically, the modern church concept of tithing is already way off base. So biblically, if you have excess, your increase, you put it wherever you want to. Caleb House or rescuing puppies or pro-life organizations or the Gleaners or whatever, whatever. And if your church is dead, why are you there? Just throwing that out there. Speaking of churches that aren't dead, if you need a copy of the scriptures, if you need a Bible, you can get one at our cost at grindstoneministries.com. Link is in the description. If you don't have the money for one, we will send you one for free. Just email us through the website. Tell us where to send the Bible. A lot of y'all email and you're like, I need a Bible. Awesome. Hold on, let me get out my magic 8-ball and my cauldron and ascertain what your address is. Please include your address when you email with that. Okay. So if you need a copy of the scriptures, come see us at grindstoneministries.com. And if you want to be a part of what Grindstone does, boots on the ground, disaster relief and construction, there's an opportunity there to sign up for the email blast, which you should, because we don't spam you with emails. Just whenever there's an operational order that comes up, it goes out via email. Whenever there's a volunteer opportunity, it goes out via email. Yeah, so check that out if you want to come play with us when we do disaster stuff. grindstoneministries.com. There's also a place for online giving there if the spirit leads. If it doesn't, no hard feelings, no worries. Mazel tov. Bearindependent.com if you want t-shirts, swag, coffee mugs, whatever. You can find all that and links to everything that I just talked about today at bearindependent.com. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. When are we going to get more t-shirts? I don't know. I got a couple things in the works. We'll figure it out. And Refuge Medical. I already told you guys about Refuge Medical. Made in America, HSA, FSA eligible all the time. We don't play the commoditized trauma medicine price point bullshit game. I don't do it. It's a race to the bottom, and it's disrespectful of what the kit is intended for. There's $700 dog crates on Instagram, more than 100,000 units sold. $700 for a dog crate. And people are like, oh, I don't really have money for a first aid kit. I guess I'll get one from Temu, which by the way is all the way Chinese spyware, all the way. If you've ever had Temu on your phone, you need to burn that device. Like, straight up, burn it. And that's not me saying that. That's like vetted, trusted people inside of the intel community saying that. Or a Rhino Rescue, Recon Rescue, whatever. I don't friggin' know what they call themselves now. Chinese knockoff bullshit. You will die. They don't work. They don't work. They're not Committee on TCCC recommended. Why? Because they don't work. Because they're a copy of the real thing, not the real thing. Wild. Still on my journey to change my heart. If I drove out there from Detroit, would you all be willing to do a random baptism asking for a friend? Email admin@refugemedical.com. Because I'm not going to stifle the spirit. I also don't recommend, you don't want to show up on a day when we're not at the office. So the office has specific hours. And so if you're doing this thing, if you're called by the spirit to do this thing, then let's coordinate. Okay. David McPherson, what's the difference between the King James Version and the scriptures? Why should you use the book? Not trying to be a smartass. I just want to know what is the true word. I have a video on that. There's a YouTube search bar. Bear's Bible for Torah study. In a nutshell, King James added a lot and took away a lot to the word. And the scriptures is a new translation from the original source text, the Masoretic text and the Septuagint. It's not a translation of a translation of a translation like everything else that's out there today. They spent a couple of decades working on a new translation from the original source texts, trying to be as accurate to the original translation, the original texts as possible, and then let the chips fall where they may. And so I used to EDC a King James, and I knew there were issues with it. And I was like, how do I get the original source texts? How do I buy a copy of the Masoretic text? How do I buy a copy of the Septuagint? And in the process of researching that, I came upon the scriptures. So that's why I use it. Although I have 14 different translations of the Bible. Tracking. I need one. GrindstoneMinistries.com. Shall we? Yes, we shall. Oh, good morning, Father Yah. Father, thank you for allowing us to wake up today. Father, I pray that you'd guide us by your Ruach HaKodesh, your Holy Spirit, that you would convict us to walk where we need to walk, to be engaged in this life in faith with you, to be an equitable participant in this relationship with you. Father, that you would put us where we need to be, that you would give us the words that we need to say, that you'd be indwelt in us, that there would be wisdom and discernment by your Spirit. And Father, that you would empower us to do the things that you've called us to do, to be obedient to your convictions. In the name of Messiah, that we would have strength and power and authority, that you would bless the work of our hands and our feet. Father, that you would give us this day our daily bread and lead us not into temptation, that we would lean on you and not our own understanding, and that we would honor you and not the world, and that we would learn to see the little glimpses of you throughout the day, throughout our life, where you were just clandestinely showing off, showing how good you are, how much you love us, and orchestrating all the little pieces on the board game in a way that is both honorific of you and profitable for us. Father, help us to walk better. Everybody who's listening to me right now, Father, speak to them. Open up their ears. Open up their eyes. Let the scales fall from their eyes. Open the door of their heart. And Father, undeniably manifest yourself to them. Let them see you. Father, let them learn how to communicate with you. Bring them face to face with you, that they might know. Not just believe, but know that you are the great I am. That you left your domain and came here to dwell among us, to make a way by your atoning sacrifice for us to come home again. That you knew the end from the beginning, and that you called us and counted us worthy in spite of all the terrible things that we've done and all the unrighteous things that we will do, even as we do our best to walk in your name, that you factored that into the equation and still saw fit to suffer and atone for us, to redeem us. Father Yah, show them this undeniably. Convict. And give them the constitution of character to walk in that conviction. to know, not just believe with their mind, but to know who you are, Father. Father Yahuwah, please let no weapon formed against us prosper. And remember those of us who are doing our best to walk in righteousness as we do our best to walk. And remember you. Make your face shine upon us. Father, let nothing that's not of you be in our presence by the name of Yeshua Messiah. Fill us up with your light, that we might let it so shine forth before men, that we'd have the honored task of carrying your word throughout the world. Father, please equip and empower us to be your hands and feet. And Father, please today bless these people, provide for them, and protect them. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen. All right. Love you, weirdos. Have a great day. Shalom.